Another Joshcast, which I'm feeling inspired today. I actually am feeling inspired today. Do you feel inspired? Do you want to feel inspired? Then come on down to Jim Johnson's House of Inspiration. We have various inspirational knickknacks that'll help you feel inspired. Like, for instance, this inspirational dead cat. Excuse me, what did you just say? It's an inspirational dead cat. I'm sorry, say that again. Inspirational dead cat. Can you explain to me how I shouldn't call the police? It's a cat that's dead, but for some mysterious reason, when people are near it and they walk around it, they suddenly feel inspired. This makes me feel very uncomfortable. Why don't you give it a try? Just come on over here. I don't want to go near it. Come on over here. I really would. Come on! It's not going to bite you. It's dead! Well, it's actually... I can't explain it, but for some reason I finally figured out how to finish my novel. Is that because of this cat? That's right! This inspirational dead cat. It's a muse, and it's a corpse. Here at House of Inspiration. Well, that took an odd turn. But I was thinking about the character of Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe, that he's this ninja, samurai, assassin person, never talks. And I do feel like when I think of the cliche ninja that I see in movies or that I see in cartoons, there is this, this quiet, wise, noble person who rarely, if ever, talks. Stoic would be another word to describe it. But surely there had to be at least one ninja out there who was, a very good ninja, but when he wasn't being a ninja was just loud and maybe even a little annoying. Yeah, I've been a ninja for 15 years now. It's not a bad trade. It's not bad. Got my ups and I got my downs, but I was the one who wrote the most recent ninja manual. That was me. Yeah, Jim's ninja manual. That was me. That was me. It's some of the collections of my observations about the world of ninja and what's going on with ninjas right now. Because it's a very exciting world, but there's different schools of thought on being ninjas. And so I wrote a manual on it. It's more of an opinion piece. Really proud of it. It's a lot of people have read it. I've gotten some calls. I don't want to say who specifically, but some people who are pretty high up are interested in maybe a book series, which I'm very excited about. Very excited. Oh yeah, I ninja all the time. A lot of people tell me that ninja is not a verb, but I disagree. As soon as I began to think of it as a verb, as soon as I began to think, ninja is a verb. It's about ninjaing. You just got to ninja it. My life really turned around. I'm thinking of writing a self-help book on it. How to turning words that aren't verbs into verbs as a guidepost, as a mental sort of inspirational jump. I'm really thinking about doing that because we don't all have magical dead cats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that guy. The effervescent ninja. I don't think effervescent is the right word there. I'm not sure if it's the right word. What does effervescent describe? Mouthwash of some kind? Effervescent. Yes, he was rather effervescent. Not really never heard him described that way. Lord Vader, I'm surprised that you used the word effervescent. Well, he was effervescent. Very effervescent. It's fascinating that a guy who's on a walking life support system could be that intimidating. Maybe that's why the character was so intimidating, was because in a weird way, by hearing his breathing and seeing that he was on life support, it was like he's so powerful, he's near death, and yet he still can kick people's butts. Very very interesting, truly. And no, so powerful. He had the power after becoming Darth Vader. Right after he became Darth Vader, over the course of 20 years, he transformed into an elderly yet distinguished British character actor. Like, that's how strong the Force was with him. That's not something that you can just snap your fingers. Actually, was that guy British? Maybe he wasn't British. I don't know. I think he was British. He didn't have that many lines. I'm talking about the actor who played Anakin Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, right at the very end when Luke takes off the helmet. And inside we see basically, though he's horribly disfigured, but a kindly old man. And I think that's really the theme of the whole thing, isn't it? That underneath it all, we're kindly old, semi-British white men. You've misinterpreted the film. That's a radical misinterpretation. Radical man. Radical. Radical. Interesting word there. There was a whole period of time when I was growing up where radical was like the surfer, skateboarder. Isn't that what one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Isn't that what Michelangelo was always? Radical man. That's radical. I don't feel like it's in the slang the same way now. Now, whenever I hear radical, it feels much more. There's been a radical change in the nature of coronavirus at this point. And there's been a radical change in our government. The world is coming to an end. Radically. Yeah, the bygone days of radical man are gone. Anyone else miss the 20th century? Never thought I'd hear myself say that. Anyone else miss the 1980s? That's how bad it is right now. To think, go back in time to the 1980s, walk up to someone and go, this is the golden age, right? Oh my God in heaven. Bum ba da bum ba da 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 bum ba da bum ba da 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 bum ba da bum ba da 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 dun da dun dun da dun dun da da ba da dun da dun dun da dun dun da dun da dun dun da dun dun da ba da bum bum ba da bum ba da bum ba da da bum ba da it belongs in a museum. That's what he was always saying about the artifacts. It belongs in a museum. What about this, Dr. Jones? We found King Tut's famous short story collection. King Tut had also attempted to be a short story writer. Would you like to take a look at it? See one of his short stories? All right. We'll see if it belongs in a museum or not. All right. Here is one of King Tut's short stories. The Semi-Broken Chair by King Tut. Harold Markowitz woke up groggily. Wait a minute. Is that the story? Yes, this is the beginning of the story. Nobody in ancient Egyptian times was named Harold Markowitz. Well, you can carbon date it yourself, Mr. Jones. Shall I continue? Harold Markowitz woke up groggily. It had been many harvest moons since he and his wife, Linda Markowitz, had reasonable marital sex. I really don't think this sounds like something King Tut would write. No, it is. Please, let me continue. As he made himself some coffee, Harold couldn't help but feel that as he entered middle age, life was passing him by. And he looked outside and he noticed in the wind of the noontime fall sun. That sentence doesn't even make sense. Just let me finish. He saw two squirrels playing in the tree. Oh, Harold said to himself, the innocent joys of two squirrels playing in a tree. It reminds me of the bygone days when I used to work for my grandfather's upholsterer. All right. This, you're screwing with me. King Tut didn't write this. This does not belong in a museum. You wrote this, and you're trying to say that King Tut wrote it so that you can get it published. And I'm going to put a stop to it by shooting you in the throat. Didn't Indiana Jones kill a lot of people? Dr. Jones, we're taking you downtown. What? I don't understand why. Because you murdered 50 people in a foreign country. And they have an extradition treaty with the United States. You have to... What, you just think you could take out a gun, shoot someone, and walk away and there'd be no consequences? You're under arrest for a lot of murder. And what is the defendant charged with? Your Honor, the defendant is charged with a lot of murder. Can you be more specific? No, we can't. No, he didn't keep records of how many people he murdered, but there were a lot of witnesses who saw him shooting people, punching people, using a whip on people. I think he threw one guy into a propeller. But they were all Nazis. No, they were not all Nazis. Some of them were not Nazis. But it would not be as fun a movie if he didn't murder. Nobody wants to see an Indiana Jones movie where, before every confrontation, he manages to just talk them down. The guy's got the swords out. Indiana Jones is looking at him. And he just says pointed psychological facts that cause the guy to rethink what he's doing. So he's whipping his swords, he's throwing them up and down, threatening Indiana Jones, and Indiana Jones says, "This is about you trying to reconnect with your father, isn't it? I don't think you're mad at me. I think you're mad at your father." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are. I can tell." What did your father do for a living?" "He made swords." Interesting. And now you're playing with two swords." "I'm not playing. I'm going to kill you." Is that going to bring your relationship with your father back? I don't think it is. Do you want a hug? Nobody wants to see that movie. Nobody wants to see that movie. By gum. How are there this many cars on the street and no one has a job? Where is everyone going right now? That's what I want to know. Well, there's a guy who's got a couple of porta potties. I suppose that's job security. There will always be poop, my friends. So why did you get into the porta potty business? Because there will always be poop. It's something my father reminded me of every day growing up. He was a sword master. Gradually lost his job because people stopped using swords, except for those occasional people who would buy two swords to use to go fight Indiana Jones. And he said, "Don't be like me, son. Find an industry that is evergreen." And so I went into porta potties. Because I don't care how advanced mankind gets. There will always be poop. Yes, thanks for coming in, Milton. I appreciate it. Milton, we think you're a tremendous poet. We really do. And it's why none of us hesitated when we made you the nation's poet laureate. But we're a little, well, maybe we're just confused with your most recent poem, "There Will Always Be Poop." And maybe you can explain to us, we're not really seeing the poetry in it. It's really more of an essay about why people should work for porta potty. There's no rhyming here. It's just a thesis on how, because people are always pooping, you get job security. I mean, it's. I'm not seeing how that. I'm not seeing the. I mean, there's not even iambic pentameter. What's up? You want to know what's up? I'll tell you what's up. Two things are up. Okay, I had writer's block. I was broke. And yes, I'm a poet laureate, but it doesn't pay anything. Wandering around, walked into this shop. Never been in the shop before. And I walked near this dead cat. And it hit me. Porta potty.